DOW. Dits on Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast, and this is the last time that you will hear this weekly show, the episodic stuff at least, on a Thursday. That's right, let's just get straight into the whole point of today's episode, because life got in the way this week. I did watch Hell in a Cell, I did watch Raw, but I just haven't had the time to record as much stuff as I, would have liked. Work's been busy. The whole family has been struck down with really bad flu. So I've been playing Florence Nightingale all week. So it's been hard to get up here. But because I'm so dedicated to you people, I'm good to you, I wanted to at least give you an episode 24 in some way, shape, or form. It might not be the usual content, and it might not be, the best goodbye to Thursdays. We'll get into that in a minute. But I needed to get something out there. But I will make it up to you, because not only am I giving you an update on the future of the show, which I think is a necessity, but there's also a double header today. So once you've gone and listened to this, you might have already listened to it, depending on what order you go for. But I'm simultaneously releasing the latest episode of DOW Draft That as well. I was able to record that over the weekend, so that's out now with Josh Robinson. We draft theme music. It's a great episode, a lot of fun, some terrible renditions from Josh and I of our favorite wrestling theme tune. So go and check that out. That is also released at the same time as this. So I'm at least giving you something. And of course, there was the interview with Leo London, released on Monday as well. So there is plenty of content within the DOWPOD umbrella this week. It's just that the episodic stuff, it's light on content, sadly. But this is what right now you're here to listen to what is going on with the show. And I'm not going away. I'll stress that straight away. I'm not going anywhere. I still love doing this. I'll put my hands up in the air and say recently I did hit a podcast wall. I'm still kind of there, not necessarily with the content that I have. I think my content's good. It was just that crossroads. You hit that 6 month point and you're just like, does anybody really care? Is anybody even listening to this? Like, that kind of stuff. I think most podcasters go through it. And I'm still kind of in that little rut. But I'm still going. I'm still plowing on. At the end of the day, I enjoy doing this. So I will still do it. It's a hobby. And, it's something that people do listen to. I know that people do listen to it. So, I want to keep on doing it and further it, progress it, improve it, tweaks every now and then. And this is kind of where this falls in. So, of course, we know the landscape of wrestling changed massively last week Raw was obviously still on a Monday, but it premiered, a whole new get-up, pyro stage was all different. SmackDown moved to Friday. That's the big one here. It moved to Friday. Of course, we've got AEW now on Wednesdays with NXT now running a 2-hour show, and NXT UK, I believe, I haven't watched NXT UK since I saw TakeOver. So I believe that's now on a Thursday. So there's wrestling all over the place. And that's not even factoring in Impact, MLW, NWA. There's so much. But I think this move right now that I'm about to say is a necessity based on everything I just said. As I said right at the very start, this is the last time you will hear an episodic episode of this show on a Thursday, because I just can't justify it anymore. I can cover Raw and a pay-per-view on the Sunday, but I have to miss out NXT, I have to miss out AEW, and SmackDown. Yeah, I can cover SmackDown, but the new one comes out the day after, so it's that kind of outdated at that point. So I'm changing my day that I will release, and it also works because my role at work is changing soon as well. So weekend recording will be a must. So this works even better. So my episodes from now on will release on a Sunday. That's right. A Sunday is when all my episodic stuff will now release. So it means that I can fit everything that I want to in, and it means I've got ample enough time to get recorded, well, to watch it first and foremost, but also be able to record and talk about it, and hopefully get guests on as well and stuff like that. That doesn't mean it's dropping this Sunday. That's not happening. The DOWPOD episodic stuff will return on the 20th of October. That'll be the 25th episode, landmark episode. Got some good stuff planned for that. But with this day change also comes a content change as well, because I could find myself going, Raw highlights, NXT highlights, AEW highlights, SmackDown highlights. It'd just be too much. It would be too much. So I'm keeping the highlights. I think that's that is the center stage of this podcast, doing the highlights every single week, and I'm not changing that. I'm just mixing it up a little bit because I want to include as much as I can within my highlights. So the Raw, NXT, SmackDown, 205, NXT UK, whatever, that is now falling under one segment, WWE highlights. So I will pick, like I have been the last couple of weeks, I will pick I'll extend it to a top 5 rather than the top 3 that I've been doing, but I'll do my top 5 moments of the week. So that's what I'm going to do. And voice clips, of course, will change to, cater that. So voice clips will be, I'll ask you guys to give me a 2-3 minute spin on your favorite moments of the week, rather than just focusing on the one show. And then tweets that I include, I'll grab, from all over the place, depending on the show. But the big thing here, apart from that, of course, is I will also be running AEW highlights. So that is, this whole show has been focused on WWE. I've mentioned AEW, every now and then, but nothing substantial. That changes next week. So on the 25th episode, AEW highlights will be a thing from that point onwards on this show. So there's no bias here. I'm happy with WWE. I'm happy with AEW. I'm really curious to see how AEW does, and I'm more than happy to smash in some highlights every single week. So that is the change to the show, essentially. No, like the power rankings. I'm undecided with the power rankings at the moment. At the moment, they're obviously included within the weekly show. I'm going to make a push to get that on YouTube as in a video format. Just so my YouTube has something going on, because my podcasts now go up there every single week. Now that I'm a part of Spreaker, it does it automatically, which is fantastic. But not much else goes on there. A couple of gaming stuff will go on there because, by the way, my YouTube channel has been updated recently. If you didn't know, it's had a rebrand. It is now Dits on YouTube. So that it encompasses my Dits on wrestling stuff and my Dits on gaming stuff. So it's a one-stop shop for all my content, essentially. But I don't have anything else other than the actual podcast episodes going up. So putting the power rankings on YouTube is something I've wanted to do for months, and I'm ready to pull the trigger on it. I don't know when. It'll be very, very soon, but I just don't know which round it'll be that heads to YouTube. So it will potentially be a part of the show on Sunday next week, or it could be on YouTube. Who knows? I mean, stay tuned, I guess. Stay tuned. And when it comes to interviews and, guest spots, I'm going to release those as individual bonus episodes, because I feel that putting all that stuff into one episode was just too much. You'd get the Raw and you get the SmackDown highlights, the power rankings, and, a 45 to 60-minute interview or guest spot as well on top of that. It was just too much. So they will release as their own thing, as singular episodes, as bonus episodes, just like the Leo London interview on Monday. singular episode, very, very well received, because the focus was on the interview. It was whoever was going to that episode was there to listen to the interview. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what I want to do. I want to give, the people that I talk to, that spotlight. So that's what's going to happen with that as well. So it'll drag the time down, because my podcasts are hitting, 2 hours, the weeklies anyway, every single week. And I think that's too long. It really is too long. So I'm going to make the push to put interviews, guest spots, all that kind of stuff as singular episodes going forward. But that doesn't mean people won't come on to join me to do the highlight segments. That's still a thing. So Anthony Talk Stuff, he was my first drafting opponent on Draft That. He's joining me on that Sunday, on the 25th episode of the DOWPOD, to do AEW highlights with me for the first time. So stuff like that'll still happen. But that's as far as guest spots on this weekly will go. And there you go. That is essentially, the changes to the show. I mean, I'm going to throw in a couple of bits here and there. I want to kind of make it a lot more fun, so I'm going to throw in some random ass segments that don't make any sense, but they popped me. I was doing something around the house earlier, and I was just like, you know what, that's going in the show. So you're going to hear some random stuff start propping up throughout the throughout the show as the weeks go on. But that is they are the changes that you'll see. I mean, the big one really is the day change from Thursday to a Sunday, but obviously the content is changing with the highlights as well, and including AEW. I'm excited to include AEW. I actually really am, because I don't think the first show lived up to the hype that Twitter sold to me, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to doing that. NXT has been killing it for me as well. So it's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. And yeah, that's the update, guys. That's the update. I hope that it's something that you're going to be happy with. A Sunday. I think a Sunday is a pretty good time to release a pod, because most people aren't at work on a Sunday, so they've got time to listen to it. And if not, when you're driving to work on the Monday morning, hell, you've got an episode of the DOWPOD waiting for you. So I think Sunday's a good time, and it's a perfect time for me as well to fit around my life. So that's key also. So I'm very excited with the changes, and I hope that you guys are still on board with the show despite those changes. So, I mean, I could end the show here right now, but I've got some power rankings to get through. We will do those to close the show. But, I mean, I feel wrong doing a weekly without just briefly touching on, what I've seen of wrestling so far. I mean, Hell in a Cell, I'm not going to go into it too much. I mean, outside of saying, like, that main event, the match was good, but the outcome was bad. Like, it was really, really bad. I've not seen a negative reaction to something WWE has done. I mean, I'm trying to remember the last time that it was something on this level. Maybe Roman Reigns winning the Rumble or retiring Taker, like something like that. It was bad, like so. I actually remember watching it. I was like, I stayed up to watch this. I'm going to work in 4 hours. I stayed up to watch this, and this is the feckin' ending that you give to me, you absolute bastards, wasting my time. But the show itself was good. It was very Raw light because of the matches that were added, but Becky and Sasha at the start of the show gave me one of my favorite women's matches that I've ever seen. So Hell in a Cell wasn't a complete bust, as many people have you believe. But there you go. Monday Night Raw. I've been a beacon of positivity with WWE in the last couple of months, and rightfully so. I personally think that it's been great the last couple of months. I've really enjoyed it. I guess that's really all that matters, as long as I'm enjoying it. But Monday Night Raw was just a drag. It wasn't great. Even if this episode today I had time to do a whole spiel of highlights, I don't think I would be able to do it. It was so hard. I actually sat down on Tuesday the day of watching Raw, because I don't watch it live, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to make a push to, give the listeners, a proper episode 24. And then I just kind of looked back at my notes and I was like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about Raw. That's kind of how it made me feel. Like I wasn't into it. It just wasn't good. It wasn't good. And of course, at this point, I haven't seen NXT or AEW. So, therein lies the problem, which is why I've changed the day to Sunday. Don't forget, Sunday. That's when the show will now air, the weekly stuff anyway. But yeah, Raw, bad. Ending to Hell in a Cell, really bad. If you do want to hear my thoughts on Hell in a Cell, then go and check out Wrestling with Jonas, his podcast. I was a guest on there this week, and we covered Hell in a Cell from start to finish. It was a great episode, a lot of fun. Really glad doing it. I actually took my time up than recording my own. I was more than happy. Because that was prearranged, about 3 weeks in advance. I didn't want to let him down, so I made it happen. But yeah, so if you want to hear my thoughts on Hell in a Cell, go and check out that episode. It's really good. And Wrestling with Jonas, that podcast it's a delight. It is a delight. So go and check that out. He provided a voice clip for the show once, and he will be on in the future to join me with some WWE highlights as well in the very near future, I hope, and a draft. So we're going to see a lot of him on this show, hopefully. But I guess we have to really sign off with some DOW power rankings, right? Maybe the last DOW power rankings that you hear in audio only form. How about that? So let's just get straight into it. No messing around. I'm not even going to attempt to remember most of what went down. This is why I'm looking forward to YouTube, because it means I'll put more effort into it. But today is just going to be a reveal of the results. Nothing special. Not me trying to wing, what people did. This is just the results. That's it. But it's still good. It's still good for you guys to know who came out on top. So, starting at number 10, we had Kevin Owens with 7 points. At number 9, we have Matt Riddle, 10 points. Number 8, Charlotte, 11 points. Number 7, Bray Wyatt, 14 points. Number 6, Finn Balor, 15 points. So happy to see him back in NXT, by the way. Number 5, Tommaso Ciampa, 23 points. So glad to see him back at NXT, by the way. Number 4, Shayna Baszler with 30 points. Brock Lesnar in third place with 37 points. Becky Lynch, second with 38 points. And Adam Cole, my favorite match of wrestling last week. Actually, no, it wasn't. That's a lie. My favorite match on TV last week, should I say. It was actually the Becky match that was my favorite. But Adam Cole is number 1 this week with 45 points. There you go. That is the top 10 power rankings for this week. And like I said, this could be the last audio-only depiction of the power rankings. It could be, you could be seeing it on video next. You could be seeing my ugly mug doing power rankings every single week on Dits on YouTube. But we'll find out. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But Jesus, this is like the shortest episode I've ever done. This is insane. But that is. That's all we have time for. That is genuinely all I have time to do this week for episode 24. I do apologize that it isn't what it usually is. It's not content heavy. It's just an update of what's going on with the show. I had to include the power rankings in there rather than just putting out like a text form on Twitter, because I do enjoy talking it rather than typing it. It's a lot easier. But I do apologize. But the big things are coming. Good changes are coming to the show. So there's a lot to look forward to. And this is episode 24. It's the calm before, the storm, a good storm, because episode 25, landmark episode, hits on Sunday, the 20th of October. So put that in your diary. Oh, it's going to be good. There might be a Draft That episode out before the 20th. I don't know. We'll see if I can get my next guest on. But as I said at the start, this is a double header of DOWPOD goodness. Today you also get the Draft That episode that I did with Josh Robinson on theme music. That is releasing simultaneously with this. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go and check it out. And if you have checked it out and you'll come and listen to this afterwards, I hope you enjoyed it. So there you go. Now, of course, you can find this show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, as Dits on Wrestling now, not just as the SLTD podcast network. So I'm two-pronging Spreaker at the moment, and iHeartRadio, and YouTube. We're on YouTube now as well. Great stuff. But make sure that you follow, subscribe, leave reviews, all that good stuff, because it helps me out a lot. And it also means that you guys don't miss, any episodes of the show. Like, if you subscribe, they're always going to pop up, so you know exactly when an episode drops. And especially moving forward now, with bonus episodes happening all over the shop, yeah, it's important. It's important to get that subscribe button pressed. Selfishly, yeah. But go and do that. I do appreciate it. And of course, I do appreciate you also listening to this episode today, despite the fact it is not what you're used to. But there you go. Big stuff coming. Sunday, October 20th, episode 25. I will be back with a bang. Not this whimper that I'm going out with on a Thursday. But hey, life gets in the way. What can you do? Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy Draft That with Josh Robinson. It's a fun episode, and I will see you on Sunday, the 20th of October. Ciao, ciao, guys.